So we have microphones now. Okay, cool.
Let's change it up a little bit.
Okay.
It's
Hello,
a little bit-
ladies. Welcome to Delizie.
Hello.
To try something to drink or maybe our matcha latte.
What do you want?
I am going to go for... Is your cappuccino strong? Or is it better for me to go for a flat white?
I mean, it's stronger because it's Arabic taste. I mean, it's Italian coffee, so it's stronger.
It's Italian coffee.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a cappuccino but with coconut milk, please?
Okay.
Thank you so
And for
much.
you?
Can I have the same but without caffeine?
Okay, no worries. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Give me the caffeine.
Let Nina take some pictures. While she's doing that, you guys, let me introduce Nina Ubhi. Okay, so here's the thing. She's one of my favorite people, especially in Dubai. She's an amazing, incredible, famous makeup artist. But you have competition, though. You have competition with Bobby. Not gonna lie. With Bobby. Her husband. It's also one of my favorite people. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, seriously, like your husband is such an incredible human being. He's so funny. One day I'm gonna have him on the show as well. Like, you guys are such a cute couple.
Oh, thank you.
But I just want to say real quick the story. So, a few years ago, I was in LA. And I was watching makeup tutorials, and I saw your video. I think it was about contouring or bronzing. I can't remember. But I was watching it, and you had such a beautiful way to explain. So different than a lot of other makeup artists. And I was watching, and I was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. I would love to meet her. And then I found out that you're in Dubai. I was like, okay, forget about it. Then I come to Dubai. Have my own launch event. My publicist sends me a guest list of people, and she's like, choose. And I saw your picture. I was like, oh my God, her. Like, I think you were the first one when I was like, I want her. And then you came, and there's all these other lovely people, but you came to the launch event, and I clicked with you in that second. And I asked my team, I was like, who was your favorite? I'm telling you, there's not one person who didn't say Nina.
No way.
All of them. All of them were like, she's so cool. She's so down to earth. She's so amazing. And so, guys, because of that event, she became one of my closest friends as well. And every time I have something happening, I talk to her and her Bobby. I always get her feedback. So just you being here is incredible.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm so happy to be here. That was like the best intro ever. Like, thanks for sticking to the script that I sent you.
She
I'm
did.
joking.
No.
I'm joking. But that was really nice of you. Thank you so much. And I actually
mean
didn't
it.
know that you came across me before.
Right.
So that's really interesting to hear. I mean, yeah, it was probably about contouring or something or the other. I've spoken about all of it, but it's actually really difficult to stand out when you are doing makeup stuff because you're all, you along with the pool of makeup artists or beauty experts are all talking about similar things.
Right.
There's not much that's really that different. So it's interesting to hear that it stood out to you.
Well, you know why you're, again, so different is because I remember I asked you, like, and I want to go back to how it all started, but I remember asking you, like, what do you love doing when you do your tutorials and all that? And the one thing you said is, like, I love educating people on makeup. That's like your real passion.
Yeah.
And that's what I see every time you do the videos. So I want to go back to the UK.
Do
Nina.
we really have to? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I want to know because, as you know, like this podcast is like all about go-getters, entrepreneurs, and you just said it's so hard to stand out and really also make money with what you're doing because it's so saturated.
Yeah.
And there's so many people, but you were able to stand out. You are literally one of the top makeup artists in the world. So I want to go back to the UK.
Thank you.
You're huge in the US. Like, huge in the US. I know it's weird for you to maybe see because you're in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But people know you in the US. So now tell me, when you started in the UK, what was your life?
Okay, so just overall, what it was like, I never really, to be honest, felt at home in the UK. So I was obviously born there. My family are from Kenya and Uganda.
Wow.
So my dad's side from Kenya, my mum's side from Uganda. And then they, when they were kids, immigrated to the UK. So I was born there, grew up in South London, absolutely loved it there because it was so diverse and there was a mixture of all different cultures. And then we moved to the countryside when I was a teenager.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden I was the only brown person there.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was like, why have we done this? This is like my worst nightmare, because I had friends in South London and, you know, all of a sudden I was dealing with the racism, the bullying, and I just went into my shell because I was very loud and like, you know, loved having fun and always playing with friends and stuff. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And then thank you. This looks so good. I haven't had my morning coffee yet, so clearly. But yeah, it was different for me. So I think I went into my shell. I didn't really pay attention at school because I really didn't want to be at school.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
The crazy thing is, when I look back, and I think this happens for a lot of people once they are older, is they realize what potential they had and maybe they didn't really use it, you know, as much as they could have. And I feel like for me, the potential was there, but there were other things that clearly just overtook things for me, which was not having friends, the racism, the bullying and all of that. So I didn't really focus on schoolwork.
How did you, but when you were like with the bullying and the racism, like when I grew up in Switzerland, I had it too, but I became a bully myself because, I mean, it fits my personality, but because I was like, I couldn't handle it anymore. Like I would become literally the bully. How was that for you? Like, how did you really deal with that?
Look, I'll be honest, I didn't really fight back a lot of the time, but there was a point where I once did, and then I got into trouble. And I was like, this is just my luck. The one time I stand up for myself, then I get into trouble for it. But I think I was just not happy there at school. And, you know, I let it affect my studies and everything. And I'll be honest, I didn't do well when I was at school. I was fine when it came to the coursework, but as soon as it came to an exam, I wasn't really good with that kind of stuff. No. So I didn't get the greatest grades.
Right.
And when it came to going to university, I went to my parents and I was like, I want to live out. And I'm the eldest. And obviously I'm an 80s baby. So my parents were like, hell no, that is not happening. My dad was like, okay, you want to go to uni, you can go to uni. He was all up for it. He's very, you know, pro-education and everything. But he said, you're not going to be living out. You can travel from here. So me and my stubbornness, I was like, well, then I won't go. And I didn't go. But it's actually one of the best things I did. I don't regret it, because I remember I went straight into work. I started working with my dad in his company, and he's in construction. So I was just learning. You know, things like, you know, it was just basic. I was the receptionist to begin with. And then I was helping with some of the projects that were coming in and helping, you know, how to tender a project, how to put it together and all this kind of stuff. So it wasn't so much the trade that I was learning, but it was the business side of things that I was learning. And I realized at that point that there were a few of my friends who were at university and they were in debt. And I could see that clearly people were just like really not focusing on what they should have been focusing on. And I feel like my dad saved me from getting into that. So it was the best decision he made. Wow. And I'm so glad that I just went straight into working. And then from there, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. So this wasn't a thing for me to be a makeup artist. I was just good. The only thing I remember when I was at school, I used to get told that my eyeliner was really good. That was the one thing that my mum let me put on.
The eyeliner?
That was it.
The one thing that I am the worst at. That's why Cleopatra got a stamp. Yes.
Well, you're so good at it now. But yeah, and I was good at it. You know, I had family and stuff like that telling me I was good at putting makeup on. I still never thought anything of it. All I knew was that I wanted to travel. I didn't want to stay in the UK. I wanted to travel, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So then at that point I thought, you know what? Travel, I'm going to be an air stewardess. I thought that's the best thing. I could travel everywhere for for free, right? And get paid for it.
Right.
So I actually did apply. And
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I worked for Virgin Atlantic in check-in for a little while.
Okay.
And that's only because I did apply to Emirates to be an air stewardess. I got through all the way to the last interview, and it was my fault. I didn't tell them that I can't swim. So you should know how to swim if you're going to be on a plane. If you're an air
Can you
stewardess.
swim now? Do you know how to swim now? You still don't know.
Still don't know how to swim.
Why not? Don't you learn that at school?
Yeah, you do. But my teacher really did not like me, and she. Basically what happened, we were in the swimming lesson, and I said I don't want to get in, and she pushed me in. And because she pushed me in and I didn't realize she was going to push me in, I kind of got like quite scared about it, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this woman just pushed me in the pool.
But isn't that how you do it? I got pushed, my brothers got pushed from my dad.
I didn't. Well, clearly I didn't learn. No, it didn't work for me. I'm glad it worked for you, but it didn't work for me. But yeah, it was, I didn't know how to swim. Like, I'm not scared of water now. I'm fine going in the pool, but I just literally cannot swim. So, then I didn't obviously get that. And then I worked for Virgin for a little while, realized that I hated the shift work.
Yeah, don't you have to get up at 3 in the
morning? My whole
morning?
world was all over the place. I remember going back home from a shift, sleeping, because I got back early, sleeping, and then my mum would come in to wake me up to say, Nina, do you want to eat something? And I would get up in a panic thinking I've missed my shift.
Oh, wow.
Like, it really messed with my head, and my body clock was all over the place.
Right.
And I didn't want to do that, so I left. And then that's when I got into makeup, and I thought, you know what, let me give this a go. I'm always getting people saying to me that, it's something that would be good.
Like, you got into the makeup, like, you didn't go to school for makeup.
No,
like, did you go
I'm
right
completely
away?
self-taught. So we used to live with my grandparents, and I was really close to my grandmother, and there was a point where my dad sat me and my sister down, and he said, what do you guys want to do with your life, right? Go away, put a business plan together. I have no idea how to do that, so it was a really basic one, and let me know what it is that you want to do, right? And I was like, okay, I thought this is what I want to do, because thankfully I thought to myself, what am I good at? And I thought, I'm creative, I'm good at doing my makeup, I'm always getting people telling me. So I thought, let me do something like this, right? So I told him that this is what I want to do, and he said, okay, I'm gonna invest in both of you. My sister was doing her own thing, and he said, what do you need for it? And I said, well, actually, I really would love to see if I could make it in Dubai. And I had already traveled to Dubai with my sister for a trip, and just the both of us, and I loved it. The minute I came here, I don't know what it was, and this was so long ago. This was before even the Khalifa was not built at that point. Wow. It was being built, and I fell in love with the place. I don't know what it was, but there was just something that I just felt like this is home for me.
How long was that ago?
I don't even know, but it was... All I know is when the Khalifa was being built, so it was a very long time.
There was nothing here.
There was not much, yeah. And I said to him, I want to see if I can make it go, there. And I did some research, and I saw that there was an exhibition which held kind of a lot of beauty companies, like some kind of exhibition. It might have even been Beauty World, I'm not sure.
Right.
But he said, okay, we'll do that. So I came out to Dubai, and my sister was meant to come with me, but there was something to do with her visa that she couldn't, because we had to go to India first because she was doing something to do with fashion, and she wanted to look at the fabrics there. Right. So we went to India, and it turned out that she couldn't travel from India to Dubai and get back into India after. So it meant I had to go on my own. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going and I'm doing this whole thing on my own, where I thought she was going to be with me doing this. So I went on my own, and it was great, and I loved it, and I had so much fun, and I saw that there were people interested in my work. I had some of my work blown up into poster size stuff, had all the promotional material done, and I'd already been working a little bit freelance on my own in the UK anyway, so I had some work to show for it. And I realized when I was there, it's really important for me to actually physically be here. Right. In a sense, I'm like, that was such a basic thing that I should have really known. How am I going to make it there if I don't even live there? And I was like, I know, I'm just going to be honest with you. And I was like, clearly I need to be there all the time. No one's really going to book me all the way from London to come out here. But anyway, it did make me realize that this is definitely something I want to do, regardless of where it is. And I just put it on hold about Dubai. So I carried on in the UK. I started working for a magazine and I was beauty editor for them. So I was doing a lot of beauty journalism. So I was writing a lot, talking about just non-invasive surgeries, doing a lot of research about things. So it was everything to do with health and beauty, not just the makeup side of things. But then on top of that, I was doing the makeup on all the models for the shoots, a lot of editorial content. I was doing makeup for the covers, and I built up my portfolio very quickly that way.
Wow, that's so smart.
Yeah. And then I also had my private clients on the side. When I tell you I was hustling, honestly, I was working all the time. I don't know how I had the energy, but that's youth for you. Like I had my little car. I was driving to Wales one weekend for a bride. Next day I was driving to Bath, like to South London, all over the UK. And sometimes it would be a case that I stay over the night because I'm obviously like early morning start and everything. I take my sisters with me just for company sometimes. They'd help me with my kit, pretend they're my little assistants. And they loved it too. It was just fun, you know?
Right.
And I got into that. Carried on doing that for a long time, established myself through word of mouth. I learned how to do a lot of the creative side myself because I didn't ever want to be in a position where I had to rely on someone to be able to complete a piece of work for me. So for example, working in the magazine, the publishing industry really helped me. Being involved with the shoots behind the scenes helped me because I realized this is not just a case of me coming in, doing makeup on a model and then saying, see you later. This was a case of, hold on a minute. Does the photographer know what he's doing when it comes to the lighting to make my work look good? Does the model, is she being truthful about, you know, back then it was very hard because you had to go for someone who had the clear skin. It wasn't the kind of beauty standards that we have today, unfortunately. You know, it's much better today, but...
In what way?
Well, now it's a bit more inclusive. There's still a long way for us to go, I think, but it is definitely a bit more inclusive. Back there was a very kind of stereotypical type, you know.
Like blonde,
blue eyes, you've got to be tall, you've got to have super clear skin, you've got to be a certain size. And if you weren't, then, you know, it just wasn't the done thing. It wouldn't sell. Realistically. So I realized that, hold on a minute, I was very interested. I was always working with the photographer. I was always working with the stylist when I was on the shoot. I would never just do my work and leave. I wanted to make sure that I could use that image after and get the best possible high quality work. And so I learned all about lighting, shadows, lighting, how it works, where the light should be placed. I learned every day from the photographers, the videographers when they were doing video, from the stylists, like what works, how to simplify a look, how to focus on a certain feature, and how to create different emotions through work. So I learned myself how to use Photoshop so that I can create my own work. I bought my own camera. I bought my own basic lighting, and I started doing shoots myself. So I didn't want to be in a position where I had to rely on a photographer, stylist, or retoucher so that I couldn't then complete my work. So I learned how to do all of that, self-taught, taught myself, so that I had no excuse. You know, I didn't ever have to rely on anyone. Created my own website, designed it all myself. Back then it was on Wix.com.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's still around. And I had my work was all in a leather binder. Back then we didn't have social media. So you had your portfolio in a leather binder, and that was my work. That was like what I had to show for myself, that I was creating from scratch. And
but I just want to, because that's so important what you're just saying, because not a lot of people, I think, understand how important it is what you're just explaining. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of makeup artists, they come in, they do their work, they stay until it's done, and they leave. And whatever they get, right? But how were you able to switch to be like, no, wait. This is my work. I need to make sure it looks perfect. And how was it for the stylists and the photographers? Because I know you, and I know you're a perfectionist. That's what I see. I see you as you know exactly what you want. Um, it's something that I want to talk to you about it later. It's so beautiful. But how was it? How was that for the other people? When you come in, you're like, I know exactly how I want it. Did you get pushback from them or?
It depends.
Okay.
Sometimes, if it was someone new that maybe had brought me in,
Right.
then I would sometimes get some pushback.
Okay.
So what happened was I learned as I went along. So I had the odd time where when I was pulled into a project by
Right.
maybe the photographer or the stylist,
Right.
usually if I was pulled in by the stylist, then the photographer didn't want to really have me too involved.
Right.
But then I learned as I was going along that, okay, now I need to ask before I say yes. What's the theme? What's the concept? Do you have a mood board? What are the have I got scope to get some images out for myself? Like, what's the model look like? Is it something that I feel is going to be worth having in my portfolio?
Right.
So as I was going along, I was realizing there were things that I was doing that maybe didn't benefit me as much. So I realized, well, next time I'm going to do this. Next time I'm going to.
Right.
So it was all very much based on experience. So everything I have learned throughout my career, I've been doing it for over 20 years now. And I have realized that experience is the biggest thing that's helped me more than anyone teaching me anything. I've not been taught by anyone. Everything is self-taught. I've learned because I've made mistakes. I made the mistakes, I learned from them, and I got better at what I do. So it isn't that I was just great from day one. Yes, I'm a perfectionist, and yes, I like symmetry and I like clean lines, but that's benefited me and I've used that to my advantage.
Right.
Like if that's what I know is a kind of something about me that I know stands out, let me try and utilize that. Let me try and make that my signature thing, rather than it work against me. Because sometimes it can work against you because it's a little bit, people are striving for perfection. You're not always going to get perfection.
Right.
And I thought, well, how am I going to use this so that it does benefit me? Because I want things to be as perfect as they can be.
Right. So, but for example, someone who is right now watching let's say she's a makeup artist or he's a makeup artist and want to get to where you are now, but it's like, well, it's easier for you because you were a beauty editor, you had contacts, and you know what I mean? It's easier said than done. How would you say that to them? Like, to really have balls and be like, no, this is my work and it needs to reflect and needs to be good. Like, what would you tell them? Because a lot of people, I see it a lot with makeup artists and hairstylists as well on my shoots. I'm very much free. Like, I let them do whatever they want. Of course, it has to reflect what I envision. But they're very, like, you can tell, like, the photographer is, like, the boss.
Yeah.
Like, everything the photographer wants to do, like, that's how it's done, right? And they become very much, like...
protective.
Yes, and they're very quiet, and they don't want to be... But what would you tell them, like, no, you know what you want, put yourself out there, even if you get pushback, like, what is it that works for you?
I feel like it's very different today in comparison to when I had to do it. I actually think in a certain way it's easier today for people to become a makeup artist because, and it's not always good. The reason being is because when I started, I had to grind. I had to go do the jobs I didn't want to do. You know, I was up at 2:33 in the morning to go and do a bride and start driving at like 2 a.m., and just so I can get there at 4 a.m. sometimes, because maybe I had a bride the day and I couldn't sleep the night, over in a hotel. So there were all these different things that I had to do to build my portfolio. We didn't have retouching apps, where you can just, with a click of a button, make someone look like a certain way. And it's so unfortunate. And I've spoken to so many artists who are from my time. Like I went to to meet Peter Phillips, the Dior creative director, and we were having this conversation because he remembers that time as well. And I was like, it's so different now. And he said, well, yeah. He goes, you don't even know whether someone's work is actually real now.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? Because people are using Facetune or Face app, whatever it is, like to completely change the way someone looks. It's so easy for people to fake it until they make it. But the unfortunate thing is the skill really there then? Because once you've made it, are you really going to be able to follow through with what you've been trying to sell about yourself?
Right.
And that's not the case for everyone. I do believe there are very talented makeup artists today, new talented makeup artists, and I believe that it's so refreshing to see that as well. But at the same time, it's unfortunate that there are some that completely kind of ruin it for the rest of the people who have worked hard and who are working hard. So I feel like it is a little bit easier in that sense, but not in a good way. I would say that if you are trying to become a makeup artist, then you need to figure out today how you are going to stand out compared to the number that we have around us, because it is not like what it used to be. I feel like there are so many people just overnight calling themselves a makeup artist now.
Yeah.
It is one thing understanding how to do your makeup on your face, but can you do makeup on 100 different faces? Do you see what I mean? You can't, you'll get some artists where I see and it's the same look on every face. That to me is not creative. That's just stamping your look on every face.
You're right.
And for me, what's important is, and I still carry that through today, is that everyone looks different. Everyone has a personality that's different from one another. Everyone dresses different and has their own style.
Right.
How am I going to make sure I tailor my makeup look to those things so that it brings together one cohesive look? So that it's not just, this is so kind of like separate to the style, separate to the personality. It has to fit in. There are some faces that can't take a lot of makeup. I can take a lot of makeup. I know that. So I know that I can get away with doing certain looks, which works in my benefit. But then there are some faces that can't really take that much makeup because it just doesn't fit with their style, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to adjust it accordingly. So I would say that if you are starting today, look at things in a bit more detail. And I know it can sometimes be hard because you want to really get ahead and you want to be known and you want people to appreciate you and to notice you. But those little things, by you taking a step back, are going to actually make you stand out differently. And if you're working with people like photographers and you're going and doing shoots with people, you're going to have to do the same thing. Learn as you go on.
Right.
You know, it's still important to do those type of shoots because I think it's important to learn from that mistake. If you don't fail, you're not going to learn. If you don't make that mistake, you're not going to be able to get better at it. So I wouldn't say there's any kind of special trick for people to have to skip those things. I actually think it's so important. It's like saying to you, like a child, when you fall over, it's important. You know what it feels like. Get up. You know, the most important thing is to get back up and walk again.
Exactly.
And that's the way I think that they should approach it today. I just think that they shouldn't skip things.
So it's so interesting because you said that you were self-taught, right? So how long before were you practicing on your sister, your friends, or were you just like right away like, I want to go in and start doing makeup on other people? Because that would really, like you said, every person looks different, so every makeup style is it's different. How did you have that confidence to say, you know what, I want to do it, I'm not being trained, I'm doing it myself? Like, because that to me, that's one story that I love about you, like that you're like, no, I'm gonna go for it, and then becoming who you are now.
So I would say there is an element of faking it till you make it that I believe in.
Yes.
But it's about doing it in a very honest way, if that makes sense. It's
Robin is gonna love that.
It's a very kind of like, I know it sounds ironic because I'm saying fake it till you make it, but there is a way to do it which isn't arrogant, full of ego, and making you stand out in the wrong way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I believe faking it till you make it is about having confidence, is about having that confidence within yourself, so that that's the part that you're faking. Do you see what I mean? I'm not faking it by saying I'm doing something that I'm not doing. I'm faking it by having that confidence. You don't need to know how insecure and anxious I feel inside. But as long as I can fake this, then everything else should follow a lot easier. So that's what I feel like helped me back then. I was doing it on my sisters. I was doing it on my and I'll have to dig out these pictures somewhere, although they're going to hate me probably because makeup's changed so much now today. But I remember doing it on my sisters. I did it on my aunts, on my cousins. And then I remember I did my aunt's wedding makeup. And that for me was like, wow, I'm doing someone's like wedding. And then I still remember my very first client. I think it was in the Bath area. And I drove down there, and I just remember being so nervous because she didn't know that she was my first ever client. And I did her makeup, and I made sure I allocated myself at least 3 hours, which, I don't know, I kind of thought back then was too much, but actually I could have done with another hour, to be honest with you. But I allocated myself 3 hours, and I did, on top of that, I was doing her hair as well.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how hair got mixed into the whole thing of this, because I didn't really want to do hair. But what I realized was that people were asking for both. And I thought, I'm going to lose this job if I say I can't do hair. So this is, again, faking it till you make it. Right. I didn't know how to do hair. I'll be honest, I did work at a few places before I started working with my dad. Like I worked at a hair salon in Notting Hill.
Right.
But I was just on the reception.
Right.
But I still learned things as so I tried to get in all these little things that I was learning from people. And that's another thing. When I was doing shoots for the magazine, there was a separate hairstylist. So I was learning from her. Like I was watching what she was doing. And started practicing at home doing hair. I got myself one of those doll heads that has a clamp, and you clamp it to the table.
My mom was a hairdresser, I know. We had so
clamp
many.
it to the table. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a second, but clamp it to the table, and I was like doing the hair, and I was like, oh my God, like this is actually okay. I can do this. I practiced on that doll's head, and my dad was looking at me like, is this girl serious with what she wants to do for the rest of her life? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the side eyes I got, I remember, like from my own family, they were like, maybe we shouldn't have left South London. Like, but I ended up doing it, got to the client, and it went really well. She was super happy with it, and I was like, okay, this is good. This is my first client. I've done it. Always took pictures and asked them, am I okay to use this on my website, this, that, and the other.
Oh.
Use them, because before I had my first client, I used to take pictures of cousins, sisters, and put them on my website like they're clients. Faking it till you make it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of fake it till you make it I was doing, back
So good.
back then. So yeah, that's a part of what I would say is important, and the kind of advice I would give to someone today is there's nothing wrong with that. But I do see it being abused so much today from people. Like, it's a shame, because you will see pictures of very highly edited, and because I'm self-taught in that, I've learned how to use Photoshop. You can tell half the time.
Right.
If you have an eye for it,
Right. Right.
And even now, before it used to be a case where you can see if a photo is edited, so you want to see the video, because the video wouldn't be edited, right? But now you can get videos that are edited. There are people snatching their waists and stuff on video.
So crazy.
Like, it's you literally cannot believe what you see online now. So it's totally different, and it's such a shame, because there's going to be such a small number of people out of this big, pool of people doing this that are going to actually want to do things the right way. And I just hope that follows through going forward.
So how do you see, because I know I talked to someone to Robin about AI, because she's really in that industry. How do you see AI changing the whole game for makeup artists?
I think it will change the game for makeup artists when it comes to their portfolio,
right,
and their experience,
right?
Because physically nothing's going to change. You physically go and see the person, and you do that person's makeup, and we're done, right?
But if we do like magazines and like all of that,
I think is very difficult to. I don't think that there's going to be much need for the certain creatives, because I think that AI is going to be able to take over that.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that side of the industry, it's going to make things a lot easier for the right people.
Right.
But it's not going to make things easier for the people who are trying to make a living out of that, which is a shame.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I embrace change, and I know I need to adapt with it, and I do that. But at the same time, I do feel for the people who are not going to be out of jobs.
I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Thai Cocoa. I don't settle for just any drink. You can ask all of my friends. If it's in my hand, it has to taste good and be good for my body. That's why I go for Thai Cocoa. It's 100% pure coconut water straight from Thailand. packed with natural electrolytes to keep me hydrated, potassium to support my body, and no added sugar. The bonus? It actually tastes amazing. Light, naturally sweet, and refreshing. Thai cocoa isn't just a drink. It's my smarter swap for sodas and juices. So now Nina is in Dubai. How did that happen? You did all of that. It's incredible. You're making a name in the UK. Because that's always so interesting to me. It's like, okay, you're in this place, let's say for you in the UK, you're making a name, you're making money, you're having your family, you're having your life, whatever. And now you're saying, stop to this to create a new life over here. What goes through your head to make that decision?
Okay, so obviously for a long time since I traveled here, I wanted to come and live here. So after that first trip that I made, I obviously came back another time for the exhibition that I did. Then after that, every year I'd come back for a trip.
Right.
Either on my own or with my sister. And every time I was like, I still feel this way. I still want to be here. You know, I still love it out here. And I was feeling less and less like the UK was my home. And I just didn't feel like I was meant to be there. From a very young age, I just felt like I was meant to be somewhere else. I don't know how to explain that. And I got married when I was young, thought I was making a great decision, and ended up getting divorced. Went through a lot of stuff that I would say changed me for the rest of my life.
Right.
And kind of, I would not say I regret anything, because as much as it was absolute hell for me, I feel like that has led me to where I am today.
Right.
And it has taught me so much about what I'm not willing to accept and how to put myself first and how to prioritize myself.
Right.
Because I'll be honest, I was not prioritizing myself at that point in my life. I was prioritizing people around me. And I was this girl who had this image of what marriage was, which was a fairy tale in my head.
Us, yeah.
You know, and I just thought every family out there is going to be like my family.
Right.
It's going to be so fun, right?
That part.
And it really is not the case. And I unfortunately stayed in a very toxic environment and relationship for a while, only because I found it so hard to leave, because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. And I didn't, I was the eldest. So it would be the first time someone's getting, divorce was a bit of a thing back then, And I was like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, I'm so unhappy. I'm so unhappy that I don't want to be around. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to go through this. I don't, and I'm going to be honest, there were times where I was like, it would just be better if I just wasn't here, because I can't put up with it. This is like awful for me. Like, it was a struggle every single day going through that day. And I would always make out to my parents that everything's fine, but my dad knows me inside out. And I feel like he knew, that there was something not right. And eventually it was my dad that helped me to come back home. And if it weren't for him, I genuinely don't know what would be the case with me. I genuinely don't know, because I needed someone to say, you can't do this anymore. Let's take you out.
Right.
And when I came back home, that's when I think my family were like, and I remember them saying to me, you are not who you were. Like, you are a very different person now. And it took me a good 2-3 years to get back to who they knew Nina to be.
That long?
Yeah, it took me ages.
2-3 years.
Yeah.
To get to
back to.
Why?
Because I was in that other life of mine for like 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Part of that was married. Part of that was, unfortunately, it was my own decision to get married at that point. And I think that's why I found it so hard to break it off, because it was like, I'm the one who went to my parents and said, this is a person I want to marry. So it took me a while to get back to who I was. And then during that time, I didn't want to date or anything. And I tried dipping my toe in the water, and I was like, this world is so different now. There are like apps and stuff, and I don't think I'm ready for this. I just need to get back to myself. And I threw myself into my work, and I was still working. I was working at the magazine at that point, and all I was doing was working all the time. And then I met my now husband, Bobby.
Who is amazing.
He is amazing. And we met on Facebook. And at that time, I had my own academy, so I was training aspiring makeup artists.
Right.
And I was teaching everything I knew at that point. So all I was doing was teaching them how to be creative, how to blend, placement, contouring, all that kind of stuff. And then he reached out and he was like, I think it was something to do with like his sister wanted to do a course or something. And I was like, it's a bit weird that you're messaging me, but okay. And then me and him just carried on talking. Turns out we had a lot in common. His family were also from Africa. And he was divorced as well. And it was just little things we had in common, and we just got talking.
Right.
I, at the same time, knew that I'm going to really keep my wits about me with this guy, because I don't want to make the same mistake. I was very cautious, had my guard up, and it takes me a while to drop my guard and there's only a few people, with yourself included, who probably know what I'm really like as a person. Otherwise, I can probably come off a bit poker face.
Yes.
Maybe not so much of a nice person, but actually I am. And then basically after messaging each other on Facebook for a good few months, right? It stayed it's like we were pen pals.
You just met messaging for a few months?
Maybe it was like roughly a couple of months. Yeah, I think he knows he's really good, by the way. My memory is so bad with a lot of stuff, but he's really good. He will know. And then he was like, do you want to maybe give me your number? I'll give you my number. And I was like, okay, all right, if you say so. And then we started messaging, and we had phone calls. And I was like, this guy really makes me laugh so much. And he really made me laugh. He was always joking around. He was just so nice. And it was just so easy. Everything was easy with him.
Right.
And then it was a good couple of months after having each other's phone number and speaking on the phone, where he was like, do you want to meet? Should we go on a date?
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And he booked Novikov for our first date. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Like, really nice place. But I became really nervous, and then I cancelled last minute.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. No, that happened a few times.
Why?
Because I just got really nervous when it came to it. Like, oh my God, I'm too nervous. I don't know. Like, what if this is a mistake? What if, I don't know. What is this? Is this guy having me on? Like, what's going on? Are people just like, it's different now compared to what it was before.
Right.
And I just became nervous. And then I cancelled a couple of times, but he was still so patient about it. He was so like, he didn't get annoyed. He was really tolerant, right? And then eventually we met up. It wasn't in Novikov. We went somewhere else, and we had the worst first date ever. It was so bad.
Why?
It was really bad because I went in with this guard up, like fully like poker face. And he knows this different person that he's been speaking to on the phone, which has been normal, fun, having a laugh, jokes, everything. And then I just sat there, and this is in his words, I sat there with my arms crossed the entire evening, and it was yes, no answers. I was just like, yeah. And he was like, and I feel really bad now because he thought I just didn't like the look of him.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel so bad. I know. It makes it even worse. And I was like, no, he's really attractive. Like, I'm attracted to him. But I was just so nervous, and I was just like, I don't know. I just had my guard up. I'm a typical Cancer, and anyway, left, went home. I got home before him because I lived closer. So I got home, and my sister was like, how did it go? I said, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do this. She was like, why? What's wrong? Like, was he not like how he's on the phone? And I was like, no, he's really nice, but I just don't think I'm ready for the whole dating thing. I just think this is a bit much for me. I just got a bit scared, I think. Right. And she goes, look, at least meet him once more, because it's not like you're going to marry him tomorrow. Just meet him once more. You never know. I was like, okay. So I messaged him, and I was like, I had a really good time. And then
he's probably, what?
Yeah. And he tells me now he was still in the car on his way home, and he was on the phone with his cousin, who, by the way, is now married to my sister.
Oh, wow.
his first cousin. So he was on the phone to his cousin. He was like, she does not like me. This is definitely a no. Forget it. No point. She's not interested. She was just really weird. And he was like, oh, forget that. Lucky you found out now then, right? And then anyway, while he's on the phone, he gets the message and he goes, hold on a minute. She's just messaged me saying she had a good time. And I think his cousin was like, this girl's a bit psycho. Like, what's going, I don't know, maybe you should steer clear of her. And then he was like, oh yeah, so did I. And then we met again. And then the second day, I was totally normal. And it was great. And then we were like, and then he's like, okay, she's normal. Let's carry on. And then it went from there, and everything was great. He treated me, he made me feel, and he still does, like I'm the most important person.
I see that.
And that's what I didn't know I needed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't even expect that previously because I didn't know. I wasn't putting myself first. But now I'm like, well, he taught me what I am worth because I didn't know I could get that, to be honest with you. I didn't know what I wanted. All I knew from my previous experience was I know what I don't want. I still didn't know what I did want. So he has taught me so much about my self-worth and my confidence that I should have myself. And then basically we got married pretty soon after that. And so I went to my parents again and I was like, this is going to be a nightmare. I was like, this is the next person I want to marry. And my parents were like, oh God, like, what is this girl on? And then they were like, okay, well, get married. They just went with it. And we got married in Dubai. So we were going to get married in Goa. Turns out it was monsoon season. So very close, we changed it to Dubai. I was like, how about Dubai? Because I've been here so many times. In my head, at the back of my mind, I was like, I hope he falls in love with it. And then we can just move out here.
Oh.
And then we came out to Dubai, got married here. It was a very small wedding, had it on the beach. And after our wedding, he loved it so much that we both kept coming back every few months.
Wow.
And then eventually I said to him, how do you feel about moving out here? Because I think my work would do really well out here. He was in the corporate world and I felt like he reached a glass ceiling where he wasn't getting the recognition that he should have got.
Right.
And he wasn't getting the promotion. He was being overlooked for promotion. And unfortunately, a lot of that was down to the color of his skin. And he left there and said, right, let's do it. So we moved to Dubai.
Wow.
And he started in the finance industry here because that's what he's always done.
Right.
And I started doing what I was doing, carried on out here, built my, kind of established myself very slowly, was building my clientele. I then got some very high profile clients and they've been with me ever since. So I work with some of the royal family,
right.
And it's the best thing that could have ever happened. And I'm fortunate enough to call some of them friends, and that worked really well for me. He, on the other hand, did not like his industry, working in his industry out here. So after about a year and a half, I think it was, he said to me, I'm not liking what I'm doing out here. So we need to figure out what we're going to do. You know, do we need to think about going back? And I was like, well, that's not happening. We're not doing that. So we need to figure something out.
Right.
And then I said to him, how about you join me? Because I feel like there's so much that he can bring that isn't my skill set. You know, the business side of things, the finance side
Excel
of things.
sheets.
Oh my God. And this guy is like...
Just like my husband.
Excel spreadsheets. Yeah. Don't ever ask me. I won't have any idea what to do. I can do basic stuff that
I
he
can't
has
even do
taught
the
me.
basic stuff.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, either I call Robin or I call Dia.
Yeah. Like I ask Bobby sometimes, I'm like, can you, I give him like some kind of formula that I've made up in my head. And I'm like, I don't think it will be able to do this, but is it possible? And he just puts in these weird numbers and I just see all this like weird stuff going on, and then he does it. And I'm like, this is amazing. Thanks. That's what he does. But yeah, he was like, okay, let's give it a go. And we have not looked back ever since.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because you guys are like this, knock on wood, like this couple, like power couple. You know what I mean?
Really well together.
Yes, like, you know, like, and I really mean it. It's like every time we hang out with you guys, like when we hang out, it's like 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Then every time we leave, I get very sad when I have to leave. I'm like, oh, I want to stay longer. But how you guys are, like, you can tell, like, how he treats you and how you treat him. And you can also see, like, you guys are literally, like, best friends.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know, it's never boring with you guys. Like, he's so smart and funny. And
He's very funny.
Such a beautiful, you guys are, like, such a beautiful couple. But I know you cannot talk much about it, but I think that is huge. You're just saying it like casually. Like, yes, I work with the royal family. That's huge.
Yeah.
Coming from, working with your dad, doing some other jobs, to going through whatever you had to go through, to now working with the royals. Like, this is huge. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is why also I wanted you to be on this podcast, because you are one of the people that when you want something, you will get it. And I saw that in you from the beginning. Like, literally, when I started talking to you, I was like, ooh, she's someone that if she wants something, she will get it. Tell me, how were you able to get this deal? And thank God, still being with the Royals now.
It isn't something that I tried to go out and get. I knew at the back of my mind that there's a lot of scope out here.
Right.
But I think what's really helped me, and I know nowadays people call it manifestation.
Right.
I feel people have different versions of what manifestation is.
I agree.
Right? Because, and this is a topic I've had many discussions and debates with Bobby about this, because there are some people who think manifestation is putting a picture on the wall and that's it, it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Or believing this is going to happen and then that's it. Right. I feel like what manifestation is having your sight set on something, knowing that is going to happen. So to a certain extent, I believe that. But it takes work from yourself to get there. You can't just sit back and think, I've done a vision board and I've got this is on my scope of things that I want to achieve, and I'm just going to sit back because I'm thinking it's going to happen. I don't believe that. I believe that you have to put a bit of work in to try and get there. You've got to put some effort in to try and get there. Something has to come from you other than thought.
I agree.
And I don't know, I feel like sometimes I know I sound really old right now, but as things have progressed over the years, there's less of that kind of hard work that I see and more of the kind of, do you know what I mean?
Yes, 1000%.
And I come from that time of when your parents got you to work on the weekends. Do you know what I mean? If anyone was coming on the weekend, my parents have got all us kids polishing on the house ready. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I wasn't telling my parents what I want to do. My parents were telling me what they want to do, and we just follow. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have...
Right.
It's very different.
Right.
So I think there's a very different work ethic that's instilled in you when you come from that time, depending on how you're brought up, I think, as well. Because I'm not saying it doesn't happen today. I think it does depend on what you see as you grow up and what you see from your parents too, I think. But I feel like I knew that there was scope for me to be able to get there, but I knew that I need to be noticed. I need to work at what I'm really good at. So I'm very good at, and I don't know whether this is a good or bad thing, sometimes it does work against me sometimes, but I'm very good at kind of cocooning myself in my own creative world, which is a small bubble of just me. And I will put my head down and I will get to work and I will do whatever I need to do in making sure that my skill is recognized and I'm good at what I do. And I make sure that I do the best possible job and then I put it out there. And because I know I've put my full heart and soul into it, I'm so convinced it's going to be noticed. Because I know I've done everything. I haven't been one eye here and one eye looking at what someone else is doing. That is the biggest thing that has really helped me. Don't look at what other people are doing around you. The minute you're looking at what other people are doing around you, you're not focusing on what you should be doing. You're not focusing, you haven't got 100% of your attention on what you're doing.
Right.
Competition is healthy. It should be inspiring. It should not take your eye off the ball. It should not make you feel like, hold on a minute, I'm not good enough because this person's doing this. What it should be doing is making you work harder, making you feel more creative. And thank you. And making you feel like I can do that as well. You know, this is really inspiring, seeing this person doing this. I want to do that. So let me put my head down and get to it. So I think that's what works for me. And it still works for me to this day. Like, for example, when you said that, okay, you're really well known in the US. I know I have a very big audience in the US. So I'm well aware of that because I'm very close with my community on YouTube, and I listen to what they want, and I can see all the stats, all the insights, and I can see that the US is huge for me.
Right.
But would I say I'm big in the US? No, because I close myself off from what other people think. So for me, sometimes I've realized over time that I need to come up for air and realize and look at where I've come, because it's important to do that sometimes with what you do, to see, hold on, yeah, I have come far. Now that I know I've come far, let me get back to work. And that's kind of, I'm kind of like a meerkat. I just pop up every so often and I'm like, am I doing all right? Yeah, so far so good. And then I get back down and I get back to work. But it's very rare that I'm not so in tune with how I'm perceived by other people, because I'm so in my bubble, and I love what I do, and I keep my head down, and I work hard and I work smart. So I make sure that I have a good life with my husband, as he does as well. And that's what's most important to me. So when I hear things from other people that, oh, this is how you're perceived, I'm like, that's really nice to know. Thank you so much. And that's my way of understanding whether I've come far or not.
Wow.
I'm not the person who's going to sit and try and find out how well am I doing, because I don't feel like you can.
Right.
It comes from real people.
Right.
So I think that's what's really worked for me. And eventually I got there. I was recognized by the right people, and then it kind of went from there.
Right.
So
now you do a lot of like, you don't do, no, people cannot hire, besides some of the clients that you have, but we can't hire you for you to do their makeup anymore, like bridal or whatever. Right now, for you, it's literally like you're building, I mean, you have a huge audience, like you said, on YouTube, on Instagram, and you're doing the teaching. What do you do now exactly? Is it just like teaching online? Is it like, what is Nina doing now?
So I would say now I would class myself as a beauty educator and expert. So I am still a makeup artist. I still do makeup, obviously, on my VIP clients.
Exactly.
It's not so regular where I'm on bookings all the time.
Right.
But that works well for me, because I never wanted to do this for the rest of my life.
Right.
I wanted to slow down. Time is really important to me, and this is really important to Bobby and
no.
You know this, right?
Yes.
Our aim is not to, and this is where we're very aligned with what we want from life. Our aim is not to be super rich, super wealthy, to have a supercar, to have this huge house. I don't care what people think of us. I don't care about things. Yes, I do to a certain extent, don't get me wrong. I love shopping. I love nice things. But I also have no problem shopping in Zara or going to H&M. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't buy things because I want to be seen to be wearing a certain thing. I don't have these list of things just so that people can think something of me. So for me and Bobby, it's really important that we have a comfortable life. We're happy with one another, and we have time to be able to do the things that we love. That's what's at the top of our priority for each other. We don't have this, which we see in a lot of people, which I think is great. It's great to be ambitious. We're very ambitious, but our priority is something very different to the average person.
I mean, when you just started, Was that your goal, that you're like this famous makeup artist, make all this money, travel the world? Like, was that what you wanted when you started?
I think when I got divorced, it was really
Right.
important to me that I could look after myself.
Right.
Right. I didn't ever want to rely on anyone else. I didn't ever want to be in a position where I had to rely on a man
Right.
to support me financially and to be able to buy me the things that maybe I like, you know. I truly believe that if you are married, you should have a partnership where you work together. One should not feel like they have to do what the other person wants
Right.
to do just because they earn most of the money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it should be a partnership in every aspect. And that's what I kind of did when I had my divorce. That's why I threw myself into my work. One, because I was scared of the dating world. Two, because I just never wanted to be in a position again where I felt like I didn't have any confidence. I wasn't good. I was trying to rebuild myself
Right.
inside and when it came to work, you know. So I think that for me, it's just a case of wanting to get to that point where I felt like I'm self-sufficient. I can.
You know what's interesting to me? Like, I was actually, Robin said that to me, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think also this is why me and Robin and you and Bobby clicked. Robin said, he's like, I see a pattern where a lot of married couples who have their own job, they divorce more than husband and wife who work together, right? And a lot of people say to me, like, but how can you do that? Like, your husband and wife, you work with each other, you travel with each other, you're together 24/7. And I always say, like, if I could live on Robin's body, like, I would. Like, literally, like, 24/7 is not enough.
Yeah.
You know, like, he leaves and does laundry, whatever, for like 10-15 minutes, and I'm like already like, excuse me, you just left? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, I'm that
I
person.
totally get that. I totally get that.
I'm like,
It's so annoying for them though, isn't it?
so annoying. I'm like, you know, people don't understand, like when you find your person, you know, it doesn't. And I love what you're saying, because you're like, it's not about having the biggest house, the craziest car, and being, you know, rich and all that. Because for us, it's like, yes, it's always good to have money, and like you said, like, you want to live comfortable and all that. But sometimes I look at Robin and I'm like, man, I literally won the lottery.
Yeah.
Because what he's giving me, you know, I was telling him today when we were driving to this place, you know, I was, and you know this about me, like, I was always a tomboy. I was always like, I love working. I love to be out there connecting and all that. And everyone gave up on me becoming a mom, right? And now that I'm pregnant and I'm like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do this? Like, I have Leader Beauty, I have the podcast, I have some other stuff, and, you know, having to have this baby, and what if I can't take care of it? And then in that moment when I get anxiety and I get stressed out, I'm like, wait a minute, you married Robin. And my anxiety leaves.
Yeah.
And I feel so confident and so good because I have my person.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that. So when you say this, you know, I am with you. I remember when I started Leader Beauty, when I started with the eyeliner, I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire in 3 months. That's all I care about. And then it was more like, okay, I got to understand the industry and what it means and what I want and the changes. And I had to sacrifice with, you know, I say this all the time, like, I had the opportunity to get a lot of money, like so much money, but I walked away from that because I knew I'm going to sacrifice my ethics.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. So when you say this stuff, like, I agree with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So
No,
what is,
I do totally get that.
so what is next for Nina Ubhi? I mean, you have achieved so many amazing things. Your following is getting bigger and bigger. You're being known more and more. Like, what is next for you?
I feel like there's still a lot that I do want to do, but I'm not one to put it out there.
I know.
To be completely honest. So I'm one of those that has my own kind of ideas of where I want to go into, which isn't really drastically different to what I'm doing, but it's just about getting better and expanding. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
for me, education is really important. But when it comes to experience and sharing your knowledge is really important to me.
Right.
This is why I don't understand this whole kind of gatekeeping stuff that a lot of people tend to do. You know, I don't believe in that.
Right.
I believe sharing your knowledge is power, because I know where people sometimes go wrong because they worry about people replicating what they do. And they're like, I've done all this, I've put all this hard work in. Do I really want to share what my secret recipe is? And this is something Bobby taught me a very long time ago. This is when we first started YouTube. And he said, you need to remember, you've got to be transparent about everything you have learned if you're going to do this. Because you need to remember that, yes, you're going to teach people, which I was doing face-to-face in my academy in the UK anyway, right? But YouTube was a whole different game.
Right.
It was like, these videos are going to be up there. I was so conscious of how I'm going to look and everything as well. And he said, no one's going to be able to become you. You are you. All you're doing is helping people to become better at who they're going to be, what their fate holds for them. You're just helping them to become better. So don't feel like someone is going to replace what you're doing. No one, there's only one Nina, there's only one Lida, there's only one Bobby, there's only one Robin, right? So you're not going to create little mini me's of you everywhere. It's just about helping people get better at what they do. And I think that's why that's so important to me as well, is it's become so important to me over the years, the education side of it, because when I started YouTube, if you watch one of my first YouTube videos, it's so obvious I've never done it before. Because I'm sitting there and I'm so conscious of how I'm looking on, you know, because you hear all those things about trolls and stuff like that, and like the online bullying, which I had my small fair share. But I was like sitting like this, cameras in front of me, you know, and I was like this, like,
I know that feeling.
And I was talking in such an unnatural way. And I would make sure I pronounced everything right. And I'm so bad at pronouncing things. And now if you watch my videos, I will say something, I'll read out the name of something and I'll be like, I have no idea how to say that, and I'll leave it in. And then I realized over time that people appreciate these flaws.
Yes.
They appreciate the rawness of it, because they appreciate you accepting and embracing the fact that, you know, I can't necessarily pronounce things correctly, but that's okay, because I'm normal like everyone else. You know, maybe I do talk a bit much. I've been told that by some people online. I talk a bit much. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm trying to educate here. Like, I'm trying to, like, how are you going to learn if I don't talk? But I'm just one of those where I just like to really, as Bobby's told me plenty of times, I repeat things many times. But then I'm like, at least you're getting it now, though. So, you know, so I think that's what's important to me. So I think for me, it's going to be trying to expand on that side of things. Yes, like I said, I do the occasional normal makeup booking. It depends on what my schedule's like, because most of my schedule is like filled with filming, editing. We are a very lean team, such as yourselves. You and Robin are very similar to us. We have a very lean team.
Right.
It is just us two. We do everything in-house.
And it's incredible.
Editing, filming, everything. We do not outsource anything. Yes, I have an agent for brand deals and stuff like that, but that's about it. You know, everything else is done in-house. So I don't have time to go, you know, and that's what I was trying to get to earlier, is that I wanted to stick with the makeup artist side, so that I've got just enough of that creativity when I dabble in it.
Right.
So it keeps that side alive for me. But there are many other things that I want to do. And the education side is so important to me now, because over the years, I've learned to connect with my community online on YouTube. And I've learned from them just how important it is that I have my YouTube channel, because I didn't realize it would change people's lives the way that it has. And I know it sounds very weird saying it out loud. And you're probably thinking, it's a makeup channel. How are you going to change someone's life?
It's not.
I've had emails, long emails from people, countless emails. Some people are like talking about how they're recovering from cancer and they lost all their confidence. And I've helped, they sit there getting their treatment done and watching my videos, learning how to put makeup on so that they can transition into feeling good again in their new self, however they are at the moment. Then I've got emails from people who have gone through toxic, abusive relationships. They've come out on the other end. They're divorced now and they want to get back into the world and they want to feel confident. I've had people who have said that their confidence has been completely broken by their husband. They've been told every day that they're unattractive or they're like this and that. And it breaks my heart that there are women out there who are feeling this way, who are told that they are anything other than beautiful. Because it's not just what you see on the outside. I know that the beauty industry and the makeup artist side of it has a lot to do with the external side of it, but so much of it is deep down. So much of it is about how you feel as a person. I have days where I feel so bad. I put makeup on. Do I look the same as I would look on a day where I felt really good? Probably not, even though I put the same makeup on, because I'm not feeling confident. Do you know what I mean? And that shows to people. Your energy comes through with how you're feeling. If I had a really bad morning, I'd probably come in here. You'd probably know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it all starts from deep down. So I'm a firm believer that it's not just what you put on your face, it is how you feel. But that made me realize how important it is for me to continue educated and to try and expand. Like, we've already kind of expanded into other areas. So we have like an online publication, which is, I would say it's a passion project of mine. It's very close to my heart because I started it 2 years ago on Substack. I write every other day. For the last 2 years, I've not skipped a single newsletter. Every 2 days, there's a new newsletter, and it covers beauty, wellness, mindset, fashion, and real life. There are the odd rants thrown in because I think it's important to be authentic about these things. Do things annoy me? Yeah, of course they do, and I'm going to talk about it online.
I love that.
That's my way to put my personality down on paper.
Right.
Because for so many years, I was just this person doing makeup videos. And it was so hard for me to show that there's so many other sides of me. I love what I do. I love the beauty industry. But I don't just sit putting makeup on all day.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There are so many other sides to me.
The other side that I love, and I love that you're exploring it more and more and showing it, is the styling part.
Yeah.
The videos that you put out, and it's about like what you wear and how you wear it. I love that. Like that's
so
I can
nice.
totally see you this being one of your main things.
Well, it's weird because obviously the fashion industry is not something that I come from.
Mm-hmm.
My sister actually is in the fashion industry.
Right.
So she knows a lot about that side of it. And if there's anyone I've ever asked advice for when it comes to fashion, it's been her in the past. But I would say what I've tried to do now, when I'm putting these videos up of me showing what I'm wearing, that's just me trying to infuse a bit of my personality into it, because I realized over time that it's just beauty, beauty, beauty. I want to break it up a bit. I want to show that there's other sides to it. And I think since I've got into my 40s, I've realized, which I love, by the way, so anyone who's not there yet, don't be scared of it. It's the best thing that you're ever going to go through, because what you gain from getting into your 40s is that whole thing of not caring what people think, and it is priceless, and it is so good. Just that feeling of not caring, doing what you want to do. It's amazing. I've never hidden my age, but I've never been open about how old I am. And then this year I turned 45, and I put up that, I'm 45, and I'm proud
you
of
look
it.
good.
I'm proud of it though, because
you should.
I've really worked hard to try and get myself to a place where I feel like I'm the best version of what I can be. But it's only come, I feel like now recently, where I feel that I finally
see
got
that.
there. But I feel like I just want to add a bit more personality to my page. So I'm trying to show that, yes, I'm 45. I can still wear what I want to wear. I'm still dealing with the grey hairs, how to cover them. There are certain days where I can't be bothered. So what kind of outfit do I put on? I'm just trying to be real and authentic with people that, this is the other side of what I do. I can't style someone. You ask me to style someone else. That's not what I do.
Right.
So I can't give you any information like that, like how I do for beauty. But what I can do is just share how I style myself, And
I love that.
So that's all I'm trying to do with that.
So I could literally talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And I'm not even kidding you. Like when we meet, we talk for hours. But, before we, are done with this podcast, for everyone watching right now, I don't care if it's in the makeup industry or whatever industry, someone who wants to start and go after their dreams, what would you tell them?
I would say that remember that anything is possible. There are certain things that you will not even have on your list of dreams, goals that will happen to you. I was fortunate enough to work at the Met Gala. I'm the first and only regional makeup artist to ever do the Met Gala. And that was the biggest career highlight for me. And that wasn't on my list of things that I wanted to do because I thought it's unachievable. I didn't think it's unachievable, so therefore it's not going to happen. I just never thought that was even an option for me. So I think that when I ended up getting that and I was there at the Met Gala and looking at all these people, and I'm working on someone who's attending the Met Gala, and then I'm seeing everything that goes on. I'm like, this is crazy. This is mind-blowing that I'm here right now. That for me was a full circle moment where I felt like, okay, this is one of those times where I know I've achieved something and I should be proud of myself. And that's what I would tell people is don't forget, there are things that you have not even got on your list. Don't become so consumed with trying to tick off your list and then end up missing out on things that could actually be bigger and better for you. So the biggest piece of advice I would give is to be authentically yourself and really believe in yourself. Don't look at what other people are doing around you. Only glance up every so often to just get some inspiration or push you to work a little bit harder or smarter. But I think focusing on what you do and focusing on the fact that you have talent and really putting your head down and getting to work on it is what's going to get you to achieve those dreams.
I want to say thank you so much to you for being here. Every time I go to Nina with an idea, no matter how big or how small, the support I'm getting from you, and not just the support, it's like, come together and analyze it and see if you can do it better or different. Every time I needed you, you showed up. And what you mean to me, like, I don't think I can really put it into words, but again, you being here, it means the world to me. So thank you a million times.
No, that was so nice. Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it. I know I have talked so much. Now you know how much I can talk. I could literally talk all day.
Trust me, I could
If it's
sit
with
with
the
you.
right person, then I can. Otherwise, I sit there with my arms crossed. Like I don't want to know. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and that means so much to me that you feel that way, because I genuinely feel that doesn't happen enough, especially in this industry where women are supporting women. I know we like to say it and throw the term around, but are we really genuinely doing that? Do you know what I mean? It's not. I don't see enough of it, because you can say it all you want so that you look good or whatever, but I just feel like sometimes there's a little bit of like that humble attitude missing. Do you know what I mean? This is not about trying to outdo one another. This is about being honest, humble, and supporting one another, and just knowing that we're all trying to achieve the same thing. There's room for everyone.
I know. I also want to say thank you so much to Delizie Caffè for hosting us, for giving us this beautiful space, for this amazing coffee. Like, you have no idea. The coffee is amazing. The place is amazing. This is the first time that I've been here, and it is located in Dubai Harbour Yacht Club, of course, here in Dubai. And their Instagram is Delizie Caffè Gourmet Dubai. So please go follow them. Come check it out. I also want to say thank you to our sponsor, Thai Cocoa, for this episode. Listen, this is like my favorite coconut water, and I'm not just saying that. They sent me a few boxes. I think I drank all of them already, and that was meant to be on this, spot. But no, I'm really, really grateful for everyone. And again, thank you to Nina, and thank you to the whole team. And I will talk to you later.